Hey guys, I am Ian K, and in this video I'm going to do a follow-up on my previous video with the full Mythseeker comp, and I'm going to showcase even more DPS options for this comp. And I'm also going to show not just legendaries, I'm going to show some epic options as well. Alright, so the first champion that I am going to showcase is Longbeard. So Longbeard was surprisingly pretty good in this comp because Fushan provides the decreased defense already, and Longbeard has the weaken, and his weaken is on a two turns cooldown, so it will pretty much be up the entire fight. And what's even more uh, great about Longbeard is his ally attack ability. So since this team pretty much is entirely built for raw damage since there is no poisons except for like the toxic set. So everyone hits hard. So Longbeard's ally attack actually does a lot of damage. And especially with Fushan's A1 ability, it kind of increases the damage even more. So yeah, so this is Longbeard's ability. So I have him in Reflex Set. So all we want to do is we want to just cycle his cooldowns as much as possible, as quickly as possible, as well as triple refresh accessories. So for his chest, I had him in this attack chest. Let me just try it on and show the entire stats. So he had this piece. So this is his stats during the run. So 172 speed, 100% crit rate, 236 crit damage, accuracy to apply weaken, and 4.7k attack. So this is his entire stats. Now I'm just showcase his individual pieces quickly. So this is the chest that he had on. These are all the remaining pieces. All right. So now I'm just going to do, of course, and his masteries, he has War Master Mastery, and everything else is pretty much the same as all the other champions. So I'll just do a quick showcase of the run quickly. I'll just show parts of it, and then you can see the damage, and then I'll move on to the next champion. All right, so that was Longbeard. Now I'm going to be showcasing the Epic Champion. So the first Epic Champion that I want to showcase is one of the newer champions in the game that came together with the Mytha during the fusion. And that champion is a surprising champion. It's Scabrius. So Scabrius actually has a pretty good kit for a clan boss. I don't think I've seen anyone tested him in a comp yet, so I saw that he had potential and I just wanted to build him out and test him out. So for his abilities, his A1 has an ability to place poisons, the big poisons at a 70% chance, and I have him in the Master Hexer Mastery and Sniper, so it's a 75% chance to place poison. His A2 um, is not relevant in Clan Boss, so I kind of disabled it so he doesn't use his A2 at all. But his A3 has the ability to place Weaken, 100% chance for 2 turns. So this is where he fits in the comp. So we have the decreased defense once again from Fushan, and then a Weaken from Scabrius. Then he has a passive which increases his damage by 20%, so he does hit decently hard. He can hit 150k plus up to 200k per hit, which you will see in the run. And I geared him in retaliation set, so we want him to counterattack as much as possible with his A1 so he can place poisons. So this is his gear. So he has a 4.9k attack, almost 5k, 172 speed once again, 100% crit rate, 245% crit damage, and enough accuracy to place his debuffs. His masteries, so in the offense tree, it's exactly the same, War Master. And then I chose support tree for him because I want to increase the chance to place his poison from sniper and increase the duration of his debuff. Alright, so this is his gear pieces. Alright, so now I'm just going to once again show a quick showcase of the run. I'll just show clips of it, and then we can see the damage, and I'll move on to the next champion. All right, so that was Scabrius. And then the next epic champion we have is the classic um, Draco, a mini Draco, which is Fayne. So we have Fayne right here. So she works well as in this comp as well. She has the decreased defense and weaken, and she has some poisons. So for this comp, I decided to gear her in retaliation set. Sorry, reflex set. So normally the decision on whether to put reflex or retaliation set on the champion depends on where the majority of the champion's damage come from. So if the majority of the damage comes from their A1, then having them in retaliation set is the best. If the majority comes from their abilities, then having them in reflex set is the best. Same with refresh accessories. So I have her again geared in reflex set and refresh accessories. So these are the stats of the pieces. And these are her stats. So she has 6k attack, 2 to 3 crit damage, and enough accuracy to place debuffs. And her masteries, I decided to go for the same offense 3 mastery into War Master, and then the Master Hexer and Sniper in the support 3 to extend the durations of the debuffs. Alright, so now I'm going to just show a clip of the run again. I'll show clips and then show the damage, and then we'll move on to the final epic champion. Okay, so that was Fayne. Next, the final epic champion that I'm going to show in this video will be Anax. So Anax is again a pretty solid champion in an unkillable team, and he's easy to use if you use him in a team that has block damage. So he doesn't go low to kind of break speed tunes with like the traditional man-eater unkillable teams where he get extra turns, so which can complicate the speed tune. But so in this case, we have block damage, so he'll never trigger his passive. So anyway, he has a decreased defense on his A1. He has a poison on his A2, and he has weaken once again, which is needed for this comp. So yeah, weaken on his A3. So I've decided to gear him in retaliation set because he hits really hard. He does really high raw damage on his A1, which has a really high multiplier. So that's why I decided to go with the retaliation set on him. So for his stats, he has about 5k attack, 280% crit damage, 240 accuracy, enough to place his debuffs. These are his pieces. Okay. So, and for his masteries, I went against the standard War Master Mastery, and then I chose to go with Support Tree with Sniper and Master Hexer. Okay. Yep. So once again, I'm going to show clips of the run and then the damage. All right. So those are the three epic champions and their DPS performance in the Full Myth Seeker comp. So one thing I want to note, and if you noticed, is that um, my Harris that I use in all three of the epic champion comparison, I did not have her in toxic set. I removed the toxic set on her because all three of them apply poisons already. So if I have Harris in toxic set as well, she will overfill the debuff bar because she having toxic kind of like fills up almost like 3/4 of the debuff bar already. So I have to remove it and I just re-geared her in pure DPS set. And I've also finally decided to change her masteries. So I used to have her in a defense tree, thinking that her mastery will proc, like double proc during the stun, but it doesn't. So it means that this mastery is pointless on her. So I just switched her to support tree, and because I will be changing her back to toxic gear once I use my main DPS champion again. So having the sniper mastery and the master hexer mastery can help improve the toxic set, the poison from the toxic set better. All right, so yeah, so those are the three DPS champions. Let me just go over them again. So we have Anax here, who dealt the most damage. He dealt 38 million damage compared to Fushan's 31. The overall damage is 107 million. Then we have Fayne, who dealt 30 million, and Fushan 32, so 102 million. Still 100 over 100 million damage. And then we have Scabrius, who dealt almost 30 million, but we deal at overall of 107 million. So the main difference is just the affinity. So Scabrius is good because the best affinity is against magic, and then there are no weak affinity in this team. But for Fayne and Anax, their best affinity is force, but then we have a weak affinity champion in Seeker, so the damage is slightly less. But overall, I'd say Anax is probably the strongest raw damage dealer out of all three of the epic champions. He alone dealt more damage than Fushan, and he's dealing close to Jintoro's damage on a 3-to-1 ratio. Jintoro does about 40 plus million. He's doing close to that. All right. And one thing I also want to note is that the comp that I'm doing right now, the speeds that I used, so I used, let's see, like 173, 172, Scabrius. Oh, I have his equipment gone, but you can take a look at the speed that I use. All three of their speeds are not spirit affinity friendly. So if the comp that I use does not work on spirit, because I'm just using this comp just to show what their DPS is like under the right circumstances. But if you want to build a comp like this, and you want to build a Fumi's Seeker and make your comp spirit affinity friendly, you have to follow the kind of the speed settings here for to make the comp spirit affinity friendly. So there is like a specific ratio of speed that you need to use. So you can read it right here. I will also kind of provide the link in the video description below. So if you want to build a permanent team that works on all affinity, you have to make sure to follow the correct speed ratio as indicated here. All right. Yeah, so that's it. I once again I'll share the link down below for the comp as well as to make the comp spirit affinity friendly, so you can check it out when you build your own comp. So don't follow my speeds blindly. All right. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video for seeing more options for this comp. Yeah, bye.